Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakuyo, North American Correspondent for Buddhistdoor Global. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Ordinary Buddhist. The title of today's talk is Planting the Seeds of Good Karma. Before we get into that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. We've recently had a very successful potato harvest here on the homestead. We planted 2 beds, and between them we harvested and grew around 90 pounds of potatoes, all told. Some people think that's a lot, some people think it's not so much, but second year in, I'm pretty happy with it. So we've been working very hard to can some of the potatoes to preserve them for the future. The others are in our pantry. Some we've given away to family and friends, anything to make sure they don't go to waste. And of course, this means we're eating lots and lots of potatoes with every meal, which I'm okay with. But I did notice something interesting while we were going through the harvest, and that was the wide variety in both the size and shape and look of the potatoes, even within the same garden bed. Some of them were as large as my fist. Some of them were barely the size of a quarter. Some were very round and uniform in shape. Others had a very rocky Cro-Magnon look almost, full of nooks and crevices and crannies. Like there were several potatoes smashed together. And it was interesting to me, how could the potatoes be so different when they were planted in the same soil, they received the same amounts of water and sunlight? And then I realized that the answer could be found in a single word: karma. In Buddhism, we are taught that all of our actions are the result of cause and effect. Every action has a reaction, which leads to another action, which leads to another reaction, on and on and on, ad infinitum. And our lives are the results of an infinite number of threads of karma intersecting and diverging apart in ways we'll never fully understand. One of the great understandings that Buddha had when he sat under the Bodhi tree was the truth of karma, and not only how it affects our lives, but how we can use this understanding to end suffering, not just for ourselves, but for all sentient beings. You see, Buddha understood that different seeds have different karma, and that if we planted positive seeds of karma, if we acted with wisdom and compassion, if we treated our neighbors with kindness and respect, we would plant good seeds in the soil of our lives that potentially would bear fruit. Now, this isn't as simple as simply do good things and good things will happen to you, because different seeds ripen at different times and in different ways. It's possible to plant nothing but seeds of good karma in our soil, but have a so-so harvest, if you will. Maybe we're kind to someone and they're mean back to us. But the only possibility we have for good karma in our lives is if we practice and plant seeds of good karma. That is to say, the only way I can harvest potatoes is if I plant them in the first place. And I do all the things necessary to ensure that they grow. Now, some will grow and some will not grow, but I won't get anything at all unless I water my garden. And so it is with us and the karma of our lives. Not every seed of positivity we plant will grow, but none of them will grow unless we do the planting. And after we do the planting, it requires watering and sunlight and good soil on our part in order to ensure that every seed has the best chance to grow. In this way, our Buddhist practice, much like gardening and homesteading, is an act of faith. We start out the season planting our seeds, not being sure exactly what will happen. Maybe we'll have a good harvest, maybe we won't, but we do all the things required to stack the odds in our favor. We ensure the soil is good, we water our garden, we make sure they get the right amount of sunlight. And then we nourish everything that grows up. This is also true of our own lives. We plant seeds of positivity, seeds of good karma everywhere we can, and we nourish them as best we can, understanding that not all of them will grow, but if we do our best, surely some of them will. And as we do this, we gather a harvest throughout our lives that's beneficial not only for us, but for all sentient beings, ending suffering everywhere it's possible for everyone involved. Amitabha.